My name is Vincent Somogyi. I'm a house music enthusiast and record collector, and my number one passion is playing house music under the name Active8. Back in the early 90s, I didn't know what house music was. I was like 12 years old in 1994. I took trips to Hungary occasionally, where all my family's from, and I guess in Europe I discovered that electronic music and popular music are like, pretty much the same thing. And same kind of thing in the US too, all the Crystal Waters, those kind of CNC Music Factory. I liked all that stuff. It was a little strange for little boys to like music like that, maybe, I don't know, but we had a good time. And when we went to Europe, my cousin in Budapest, he wanted to test out his speakers, so he put on some happy hardcore, which I didn't know what that was either. German band called Dune, and I liked the way it sounded. I liked the futuristic sounds. I liked the electronics. I liked the space element of it. I liked the positive energy, and that was actually a song from one of the Dune CDs. But I went right to the mall in downtown Budapest and picked myself up all the dance stuff that sounded like that, or at least that people recommended. And I ended up coming away with, I think BMI Hungary put it out, or BMG, one of the sub-labels out in Hungary, put out this thing called House Attack. And it had it wasn't just house music, so it was like trance, old school rave music, some down-tempo, some house, some classic like New York City garage house and remixes. And then stuff like the rave classics and summer club stuff. It was all mashed together, so that's what I thought house was. So I kind of explored different areas of it, and the infamous Club E, someone took me there in my first year of college, just to go have a good time. Playing plenty of house music, playing plenty of all kinds of stuff, but it was it's just a crazy atmosphere, and I found out where this music has its place in culture, and it was kind of shocking, but it was really exciting. I guess Toronto was where I first started listening to house, as opposed to just techno music and happy hardcore and trance music. But I was hooked. Not necessarily from that, but I liked the camaraderie. Everyone was friendly. Everyone loved what they were doing. They loved the music. They just, I don't know. There was no fights. There was no trouble. There was no drama. I got into house through the global underground DJs, which are mostly progressive, because I had morphed into that by going to Toronto. But I listened to Deep Dish, and I found that I like what they did the best, and I still do. And if I base anything about my DJing on any one person or one group, then I have to say it's them, because they bridged gaps. They bridged commercial to underground. They bridged warehousey, old school house music samples with techno and with progressive and club stuff. It was just great. And I guess primarily I would say them. And they've exposed me or got me into classic house stuff that I might have not known about because I was listening to harder stuff. So that's, I guess, where it started. Didn't take me long, and through their Yoshitoshi record label, I got into a lot of West Coast house music, which in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, Hippie Halo, Joski and Onions, big chuggy dubby bass lines, tribal percussion, and that warm melodic vibe, little jazz flute too, why not? Jay Tripwire from British Columbia, I really liked his stuff, because he brought a little bit of that space of techno and some of the other genres into this tribal tech house stuff. So I try to, I guess, keep it a little techno-y no matter what I do, just a little bit, just keep a little edge to it, even though I like a happy vibe. And I guess Daft Punk, since when I was younger, that stuff crossed over all sorts of people, so everyone knew about Daft Punk. Sure enough, a few years ago, last year, they came out with their album, and I loved it because it wasn't dance floor friendly. I bought the vinyl, and it was a disappointment as a DJ. You can play around and tinker with it, but it was just good to listen to. It was just a great album to go back to, and I like their sound. I like the disco loops, taken to another level. It's awesome. And I like their robotic, cartoony mystery. I think that there should be some lightheartedness in all this. You can't be too serious. I really got into this Jack and House stuff from Midwest, I guess, is where it's still coming out of. Joey Youngman was one of my favorite guys. What is he now? Wolfgang Gardner. And I don't know, right around the time that guy became Wolfgang Gardner is right around the time I just kind of like, I don't know, I got out of being interested in playing. But it doesn't last for long. I can't ever quit. I never said that. A lot of my DJ friends always say that, you know, when they just got sick of going out for a little while, and it's a phase. Never ever get rid of your stuff. You'll always regret it. There wasn't as many places for a while, like 2005, 6, maybe 6 or 7, to go listen to the kind of music I liked. So that's another reason I just kind of stopped being interested. And like some of the biggest gigs or dance floors I've had were closing up for club artists like Junkie XL and Dubfire. We played hard progressive trance and hard techno to close out the nights, and I loved it, but there's something about it, it's just, the soul wasn't there, so I just took a break because of that too. So in about 2008 or so, I think Steve Rittner and the Queen City Cartel guys, they got me interested again. They were interested, they were throwing fun parties, they made it fun to go out again, and it was this new wave of people being interested in Buffalo, and it just got me to see that it wasn't just cheesy music that, you know, people just get drunk and go, you know, party to. People still really were dedicated to the sound and just expanding, you know, our little scene. And so I got interested again, and I guess what is it now, 2014? Well, the cool thing about the economic downturn was that a lot of people were selling off their records and getting rid of their stuff, or just switching over altogether to CDs because it didn't make sense to have thousands of pounds of vinyl sitting on your basement floor and walls and cubby holes and all over the place. But which I understand, but I will take advantage of that, and I will buy your records for 50 cents. Fabulous. You know, some of the best stuff that I gotten recently was Lydia clued me into. Someone dropped off, I don't know who this was, I still got to find out what DJ this was, dropped off records that half the records I already had, and the other half were stuff I wanted or haven't heard of, and were awesome, and for 10 cents, or no, 50 cents a piece. Absolutely awesome. How can you say no to that? You know, even a download on the internet costs $1 something now, which I still do, actually. That's how I keep up, I guess. Is I go to like Juno Downloads or junorecords.co.uk, or Downtown 304 out of New York City has got some really good house music, and they're quick to ship too in New York State, which is great. But they only have vinyl, but it's, you know, now every month I go through the last month's new releases, everything, every genre that I'm interested in, and whatever sticks I keep. And if I like it a lot, I'll buy the vinyl version. If I just like it a little, I'll get the digital download. I believe in supporting the artists that you like. A lot of people, just kind of the reason I got out of it, a lot of people are just downloading free stuff, and that was that made up their DJing, and that's BS. I can't tolerate that. It's just, I don't know. Support your artists is, I guess, what I gotta say. I don't know, I'm enjoying it right now. It's small. You have to seek out good stuff, but it's out there, no matter what genre you want. Just why I like what you and Lydia are doing. That's why I did Peace Love House with Lydia for a year. It's the exact kind of music that I like, celebrated, and I love it because it's been a while since that kind of house was, you know, big around here. Like my friend Zook, who's out in Colorado right now, he still does produce, but he used to have nights here in Buffalo, and I don't know, it's just the stuff they used to do back then, it warmed your heart just to meet these people, and I don't know, you still have that here. Bill B, great house guy, his selection at I think it was called Drop FM on Elmwood, the record store, was around 10 years ago. I used to collect acid techno records, and a few people that I know now, didn't know then, bought all of them up before I got there. And the first gig I ever played shortly after I started going to this place, the first house record I threw down in my set, got everyone dancing. And there was not many people there, but all of a sudden when I played this house record, these groups of girls just came in off the street. It was on the back room of Groove nightclub on Main Street, or Pearl Street, I should say. But they all came in and started dancing. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm gonna have to concentrate on. So I go back to this Drop FM place, and Bill Bacon was doing the selecting, and he picked out some really good stuff, and he got me hooked. The Igloo guys are awesome. I like what they're doing. They get an idea and they roll with it and they do it right. And they do it with like a throwback to the old, but with all the new stuff too, which is awesome. I love those guys. So, I don't know. I mean, it's small. You go to New York City and, you know, you'll knock yourself out with trying to pick something to do for the night. But here, you got a few options, but at least you have a few options. I mean, I never lived in a smaller city than this, but I'd assume it could be pretty brutal finding, you know, a good place to go listen to music. I guess Lawn Chair Generals, I don't even own this anymore. I destroyed my copy. I have 3 different downloads of it. It's When I Think for Aroma Records. I think they use a Junior Vasquez track vocal. This guy, Dario G's Sunshine. This was actually one of the tracks off of the House Attack series that I brought home from Hungary. And this song, I guess, was they took some sample, a piano sample, which has probably been in a bunch of commercials. I know they were, I just don't remember which ones. But it's just another one that made me feel great, and I paid $20 for it from England. It's my first overseas record, and I just had to have it. And I finally found it on, I don't think it was eBay, I think it was gem.com or one of those like vinyl hunting websites. And as far as stuff, here's some of my dance floor weapons, if you will, and Mr. DJ Twist will agree with me on this one. It is from High Caliber, which is I think Brian Jones and someone else, called Jazz Hands. And if you want to destroy a dance floor when it's already going, I wouldn't even say 9 out of 10. 9.9 out of 10 times, unless something happens, like a fight breaks out and someone's like attention is drawn, it will get everyone going, and it's awesome. And I should get another copy of that, but I don't have one. Actually, you know what? I did get one, but I gave it to someone else because I'm a nice guy. I guess another one that I go to a lot, not recently because there's a scratch right after the breakdown, but it's from Chris Simmons. It's called In My Soul, and it's kind of a disco number. And it's just steadily building with the disco loops, and it just, when it finally comes to a head, it's just going at all, you know, like all cylinders, and it's just awesome. Chugging along with that, like, I don't know. I just love it, and I wish I had another copy of it. Maybe I'll get one soon. But both sides are excellent. I guess one of my all-time favorites that I don't play much because it's just too much is So Much Love to Give. It's from some of the Daft Punk guys, DJ Falcon and Thomas Bangalter. One of those things that I heard it once. Deep Dish, I think, played it one one morning at like 8:30 in the morning after the lights had gone on and the owners are trying to kick them off the decks, and they put this on. And it's such a repetitive song, but man, you're just feeling good, and you're just drenched in sweat, and you know, your spine's tingling, just, you know, hearing the next thing that breaks after they kind of almost turn it down, and they play this thing, and I had to get it, and I did right after that. One of my go-to Paul Johnson records, it's called It's a Boogie Thing. There's a little cheesy Boogie Oogie Oogie remix on there, which I bust out very rarely, but some of the other tracks on there are just, I don't know, they remind me of the old school and disco put together, and in a very nice way. I guess another one of my favorites was the Joey Youngman track. This one has Mario Fabriani, one of his many sub names or whatever. And it's called Fender Bender. And the other side, it's called Things to Do. That is one of my favorites. It just makes me think of some old, like, early 1900s, like, kind of jug band hoedown going on, and it's just like, it just gets me going. I love it. Yep, 17th of May, Electric Avenue. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played with Lydia or this kind of vibe since the last piece of house. So I'm glad to kind of go back to my favorite. It's just playing whatever I want, and because I know you guys will like it. I hope you do.
I got soul deep down inside. Somebody help me. Come on, sister.
Excuse the farting dog.